Today we're going to be doing a comparison between two machines. We have the El Rocio Zarre from Prima Coffee, and we have the Breville Duo Boiler with the Slayer mod. So we're going to compare the shots on this and which one I would choose over the other and why. But before we do that, I want to say thank you for tuning in to Cabin's Coffee Corner. This channel is designed to help you choose the coffee gear you want to brew with at home. You'll see a lot of reviews and comparisons here on the channel. If you'd like to support me as a YouTuber, I ask that you'd please like and subscribe. That really helps me push out content. I have these things called affiliate links, so if you're looking at buying these things, click the links below. I'll make a small commission at no extra charge to you, which will help fund future videos and things like that. If you really want to support me as a YouTuber, I have a Patreon account, and that basically provides me with extra income to produce more videos, and it allows me to do giveaways to the people who support me on Patreon. Lastly, I have an Instagram account called Cabin's Coffee Corner. You're more than welcome to follow me there. All the links for this stuff is in the description below. So let's go ahead and jump into it. First off, we have the El Rocio Zarre from Prima Coffee. This comes in at $3,750. It comes with two portafilters. It comes with a bottomless, and it comes with a spouted portafilter, as well as a tamping mat and a tamper. This is a dual boiler machine. You fill the water tank simply by lifting this off, and it's a two-session piece right here. So you pull it off, and then you have to fill it this way. You cannot really remove the water tank very easily. It also has a drain kit for the drip tray and a pump-in option as well for this machine if you're really going to produce a lot of coffee with that. This also has a huge feature that most machines don't have, and this is an external controller. This external controller allows you to change the temperature of the entire machine. It allows you to change the temperature of the steam boiler, shut that off if you want to. You can set recipes on it, so you can basically just tap this button and it will automatically pre-infuse to a certain amount and adjust the pressure based off of the way that you would prefer it to and the way that you set it up in the controller. So there's a lot of features on this. You can also auto turn it on and off with a timer function on it, so you can set it to turn on at 7:30 every day in the morning at all. You can't remote feature it, so like I can't turn it on from a separate area per se, but I can set it up to turn on automatically. This does heat up rather quickly, which is a great thing for it. The drip tray is nice, but one of the features I do want to mention is there's been a lot of complaints about the steam wand on there. As you can see over here, the steam wand hits the side of it, and you kind of have to finagle it over in there. This is also no burn. This is also can burn you too, so it's not one of those no burn steam wands. Prima knows about this issue, and they're looking at what they could potentially do to change this in the future. There's no guarantee with any of that, but I thought it was worth mentioning because I think that is a huge thing that goes wrong about this machine. Next over here we have a Breville Duo Boiler. This Breville Duo Boiler is one of the older models, but it is modded with this thing called the Slayer mod. The Slayer mod is basically allows you to control the flow rate of the water coming out of the machine. So I simply just turn the hot water knob after rerouting some stuff in there, so it's a completely free thing. It just takes some time. I can control how much water is coming out of the group head at a certain time. This one also has the auto on feature, and you can also just click buttons to automatically dispense coffee as well, just like you can on this machine by these two buttons. Pressure gauge here, pressure gauge there, all that fun stuff, and you can adjust the temperature of the machine right here, and then steam wand knob lever over here. This comes with a tamper that sticks on here. It comes with a spouted portafilter. I don't know if it comes with a single portafilter. I bought it used. You can fill water through here. If you pull the drip tray out, you can actually lift it up on wheels and remove it, and then you can also remove the water tank from the back and fill it up that way. One thing to note that when I put this underneath the cabinet that you see back here, I have clearance for 1 cup of espresso, or like a cup of espresso height-wise on here. I can't fit anything bigger than a cup for espresso, so I can't fit a cortado cup, latte cup, anything like that. And this one does sit up just a tad taller, but you do have a little bit more clearance space there. So I'm assuming you could probably fit a little bit bigger of a machine. So a couple of differences in here is this machine is almost $2,000 in the Breville. And with that you get wooden accents of being either this color or a light maple color. This one allows you to control the pressure, while this one allows you to control the flow rate with the mod and with the effort in there. So there's a little bit of a difference when it comes to that. This one is definitely like, this one came on a pallet. It's 73 pounds, and like, it's not moving on the counter. Sometimes even when I lock the portafilter in this one, it moves around. This one's built with a lot of plastic. This one feels like a machine. This one kind of feels like a toy in comparison. It's still a great machine, nothing wrong with it, but there's definitely, like, when I go to make a shot of espresso and I use my aftermarket bottomless portafilter that I paid like 60 bucks for, versus grabbing this nice portafilter from this machine, it gives me so much joy to utilize this machine over the Breville in a morning, and that's what I'd rather do. So what I've done is, over the past few weeks, I have taken shot by shot comparison. So each morning I would pull 2 shots of espresso, one with the Rocio Zarre, one with the Breville. I'd pull them back side by side almost as quickly as possible between the two, since I have to kind of adjust it. So it's been sitting like a minute difference between pulling the shot, and switched which one I would do first between the days, and just really decided which one I prefer better. I also did this with milk drinks too, and tested the steam ones. So before we really get into it, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull a couple shots with each of these machines. Okay, we're going to start with the Breville. So I'm going to simply click the manual, and I'm doing this backwards, and I'm not actually going to drink these shots, but I just wanted to see how it works a little bit. So I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to open up the steam wand a little bit, and hopefully you should be seeing it drip shortly. And I usually keep it kind of slow flow rate at the beginning and crank it up a little bit more. So I have the Akaya lunar scale right here, and I have it Bluetooth my phone so I can see the weight of the grams here. So I can kind of open that up. Now it's flowing fully. And then what I'm going to do is, when I get to a certain amount here, I am going to slowly begin to ramp it down and close it off. And there we have it. There's that one right here. And one of the things that I do want to note is to utilize this machine with these automatic buttons here. You just simply need to open the hot water tap before you pull your shot. And if it's open, you're just not going to be controlling the flow profile of it, but you'll just still be able to do it quickly. So if you're making a lot of lattes and stuff for an event, you can still pull that off here. Also to note, this is a switch spot. This thing allows me to turn it on via Bluetooth, and I can also set it to turn on and off multiple times a day, which is a feature I really like, to have it ready to go over lunch and ready to go in the morning, versus this one I can only do one time. All right, so I'm going to put the scale underneath here, and this is a cortado cup, and I'm going to go ahead and tar that off. I'm going to grab this little switch here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to turn it up, and then this is going to be kind of difficult to do back here because I cannot see the actual pressure gauge from in the back here. And I feel like it's pretty close to being, it's pretty accurate as you move it. It's pretty quick and pretty snappy. I did notice that there is a substantial difference, though, in the feel of doing this compared to pressure profiling with the Flare 58. So the Flare 58 is going to pull more of a similar shot to this machine than the Breville will. So be in tune for that, and please subscribe if you want to see it. All right, and there we have it. That shot is done. And one of the things I really like about this is this machine has this little top here. I thought I was going to hate it at first because I just like the E61 style group heads, which have like a more open concept at the top. But it looks really nice to take a photo of the shot of espresso on, and the El Rocio logo on top here. So I do want to show steam power here, and I want to talk about that before I get and talk about the shot of espresso. So here is what the steam power looks like for the El Rocio Zarre. I'm gonna push that over a little bit. So it's pretty adjustable. It's pretty powerful. And over here, here's the Breville. And go back to this one. I don't know if you can hear that difference or not, but one of the things I've noticed is while steaming milk, this one goes by so much quicker, and it's way easier to texture milk, in my opinion, than the Breville. Both of these will give you enough power to do latte art, but I do find that this one is quicker, and this one is easier to do latte art with than the Breville. But granted, it is more expensive, and currently right now, it's easier to use the Breville. This Steam one is easy to grab and move around with that. I do prefer the lever styles over that versus the knobs on the El Rocio. So I think one of the interesting things is both of the shots off of these are very, very good. Adding the flow profiling that you get with the Breville, adding that made a huge game changer from the quality of shots that this would push out. But one of the things that I noticed is with the El Rocio, setting the PIDs and the temperature of the machines to both the same temperature, you are getting a much warmer and almost hotter shot than you are the Breville. And with my experience of using particular machines, manual machines, where I started off like the Flare Classic, Flare Signature, Flare Pro, Flare Pro, Flare 58, Cafe Lait Robot, jumping to a machine that heats up itself, those all got substantially hotter and better, and I noticed the difference. And it almost seems very comparable to like jumping from like the warmth of the shot of espresso, jumping from like a Flare Classic to a machine like the Gaggia Classic Pro, Rancilio Silvia, Breville, anything like that. You get a substantial jump up in temperature, and I feel like it's even more so when you jump up to the El Rocio from the Breville Duo Boiler. And I find that incredibly interesting because that is one of the things that I notice in the shop is in coffee shops, specialty coffee shops throughout my city, is that it is substantially warmer than the shots I typically get at home. Part of that is probably because the portafilter is piping hot because it's been sitting in the machine all day versus mine is a few minutes. But even putting these at the same time, they both heat up rather quickly. But every single time the shot comes off warmer on the El Rocio. And that has really impacted the flavor of the cup for me. And I feel like it's more rounded, it's just a more enjoyable shot of espresso. But there are some days based off of the flow profiling that I do on this and the pressure profiling I do on this, a lot of different terminology changes. Remember, flow profiling is how much water is coming out of the group head, and pressure profiling is how many bars of pressure is going in the shot of espresso. So this bars of pressure is controlled on this one, flow profiling is controlled on this one. Pressure profiling is also found on flares. Flow profiling is not found on flares, if that kind of helps a little bit of it. But overall, I would say the shots of espresso are better on this, marginally. I don't know if they're $2,000 better than what is on the Breville. But here's one of the things that there's a lot that goes into when purchasing a machine. One goes your budget and the features that you want. Both of these are pretty comparable on that. It goes into the quality of coffee that you're going to get. And I think a category that is often missed is the use of enjoyment of the machine. I've had the privilege of using quite a few different machines, and the Breville is probably my least enjoyment of using a machine out of a lot of them that I've used. Even at the Rocket Apartamento, I believe I'll get better shots with the Breville than the Rocket Apartamento, but I enjoyed the craftsmanship and the feel of using the Rocket Apartamento versus the Breville. And that's kind of where the trade-off is are you looking for more enjoyment or more better quality? And in this one, you are getting way more enjoyment using this. It feels good. It feels enjoying to use every single day, more so than the Breville does. And you're getting better shot quality. But you're going from like shot quality here to the Breville to shot quality here with the El Rocio Zarre. It's not like you're going from a cheap espresso machine all the way down here and you're having that huge gap up. Like if you go to Walmart, buy their espresso machine for $40 and then you go buy the Flare Classic, you're going to be going from quality from here to here, and then even from the Flare Classic all the way to the Flare 58 from here to here, and then from the Breville you're going from like here to the El Rocio Zarre, and you're spending $2,000 to do so rather than $100 or $200. And you're getting a few other things like a better steam power, more enjoyment to use, and I do enjoy pressure profiling rather than flow profiling. It's easier to know where you're at because I'm just kind of guessing with the flow rate of that, and there's some hacks to this machine on how to do so on that. But here's the deal breaker for me for this. If they were the same cost, I don't know if I would buy this until the steam wand is fixed. I find this to be incredibly annoying, even though it's better. So oftentimes I typically pull shots of espresso, so I'll just shut the steam boiler off entirely and not have to worry about that feature of it. Once that steam wand gets fixed, I think this is going to be an incredible machine, and you'll stay tuned for a couple more reviews that I'll do of just the standalone version of this machine. But right now, you're paying for looks, and you're paying for marginally better coffee than the Breville. The Breville is plastic, and it produces good shots, but I don't like the looks of it personally, and I don't like the feel of it personally. And like this one has been an enjoyment to use outside of the steam one. This one has been an enjoyment to use, and it's a great eye catcher sitting on your coffee bar or sitting into your kitchen. The way that this machine is built. So I hope this video helps you. Remember, stay tuned because I'm going to be comparing this to the Flare 58, which I think is going to be very fascinating to see the quality that you're getting from a $580 espresso machine of the Flare 58 to the $3,750 machine of the El Rocio Zarre. And one of the main difference is you're missing the steam wand and the boiler. But other than that, it'll be really interesting to see which shot quality is going to be better if you put the work into it through manual or if you use a machine to do so. So please subscribe, stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions about either one of these machines, like I said, a video is coming about changing this to the Slayer mod, which I'd really recommend doing. It's pretty hard to mess up and well worth the time and effort to do that. So if you have questions on this machine, I have it for a little bit longer, so ask away and I can try and figure that out for you before I send it back to Prima. And if you have questions about this machine, it's going to be sitting on my counter for quite a while because I do own this machine and it is mine. So thank you so much for watching, and again, please like and subscribe, and thank you for your support.